Good evening, Prasad. We are extremely grateful to you for being a part of our network and welcome to Talerang. We are so happy to have you here with us today.
Pleasure is mine. Yes, Anushka.
Yes. So why don't you start by telling us something about yourself, a little background about you, and how has your journey been like?
All right. So let me give you my background. So I did my engineering from BITS Pilani, graduated way back in 1997. It's been more than 25 years. I did my MBA from the Indian School of Business, ISB Hyderabad. Worked in the corporate world for 20 years, primarily in consulting, technology, financial services. Spent a large part of my career outside India. In 2017, I quit my full-time job. I used to work for Deloitte Consulting in Dubai. I quit that, moved back to India to start my venture. So it's been 5 years I've been running startups. This is my second venture. Yeah. So that's a quick background about my journey. Yeah.
Yes. So can you tell us something about your company now that you mentioned it, and how did you come up with the idea of Up-Tix?
Sure. So Up-Tix essentially is a skill development company, but with a slight twist. Our philosophy is no gyan. So what we believe is that students nowadays have access to a lot of content, but what's missing is really their motivation part. And our focus is to make learning more engaging, fun. So what we do is we built a competition engine on our platform. We use competitions as a methodology for skill development. So what we take a learning outcome, create a competition for that, and then drive those competitions. There are multiple formats that we have, but our endeavor is to offer most of these competitions free of charge to the student. So the way we are able to do it is, so we find a corporate sponsor for our competition. That's kind of our core offering, and we've got other offerings that we are just incubating. But the whole idea is to help these youngsters, our students, be equipped with the skills that they need to handle 21st century challenges. And that's really our focus.
When hiring, what is that one thing you prefer in your candidate, or you wanted your employee to have in him?
Most important quality I look for is hunger to learn. See, we live in an age where things are changing so rapidly. The only way one can survive or thrive in 21st century is to continuously learn.
Yes.
And so that's the most important skill that I look for in any candidate, irrespective of the age. Whether if I'm hiring a fresher or someone who comes with a lot of experience, if the person is ready to learn new things and ready to unlearn things that they've learned in the past. Yeah, that's the most important.
Right. And how important is it to have a well-skilled candidate working in your company?
It's very important. As I said, it's all about skill development. It's not really about the knowledge or talent that you have in a particular domain. So our focus primarily, we focus more on soft skills and leadership skills rather than technical skills, because we firmly believe technical skills are much easier to learn rather than soft skills and leadership skills. And that's what we focus on. So for us, communication is the most important. Is the candidate or the person coming on board, is he or she able to communicate well, communicate the ideas? So that's the most important thing. Second is what we look for is alignment. When you say alignment, is can the person kind of align to people, kind of bring people together to the idea, kind of gather that support. So that people alignment is what we look for. And of course, there are a few other skills that we look for.
And is there any difference that you notice in like Talerang students and other candidates that come?
I have noticed two things. Yeah, first is, of course, as I said, communication. And I think, so I've been working with Talerang for the last 4-5 years now. Even in the previous venture, I had got a few interns from Talerang. And so one thing that I've noticed is, of course, all the candidates that come from Talerang, they have good communication skills. And really, that's for us, for me personally, that's the most important skill that I look for in a candidate. So I think kudos to all you guys for enabling all the candidates with good communication skills. That's one. Second thing I noticed, though not in all candidates, but most of the candidates that come from Talerang, is the ability to do research and analyze things. Okay, do research and analyze. And this started with, in fact, one of your employees, Sri. He was an intern with all this, and he was amazing. I used to give him a particular task, and in a couple of hours, he used to come with insights and all this, and he used to do that research. And this quality I've observed in multiple candidates that have come from Talerang. So I would say communication and research have been kind of differentiating factors of candidates coming from Talerang to other sources.
And how has your experience with Talerang been so far?
Experience has been good. Of course, there have been ups and downs, and I think this part of the people game, right? Wherever people are involved, you can't predict how people have. And nowadays, we live in a world where things are changing rapidly. People also have their preferences. But overall, our experience have been very positive. I would say of the candidates that we've got from Talerang, 80% of the candidates at least have been very, very good. And 20% have been kind of, we've had some challenges, but that's always there.
Any advice that you'd like to give to students who are just starting off with their professional journey?
So, two things I would like to tell them. Okay, first thing is, of course, what I mentioned is that hunger to learn. So this is irrespective of where you come from, what's your background, whether you've been an engineer or you've come from one of the great schools or whatever. If you don't have that hunger to learn, you will not proceed. So you will struggle in life. I think that I would say is, don't let that hunger die. Okay. So that hunger to learn new things. Now it could be about new domain skills, new soft skill, leadership skills. It's hunger to learn. That's the most important part. And the second part I would say is feedback. What happens is, I've seen at least in the new generation of what we call this Gen Z and Gen Y, they are slightly more than not very open to feedback. They take it very personally. And I think that's I don't know whether it's a skill that can be learned or something. How do you take a feedback? Don't take it personally, but improve on it. And
right.
I've seen this generation, I've seen that they're not very open to feedback. So I don't know, I may be generalizing, with the data, with the sample size, smaller sample size, but I think that's something that I would like to, because the moment you get feedback from someone, you don't have to take it personally. You reflect on it. If it applies to you, you improve on it. If you think, okay, that's not relevant feedback, you can keep it aside. But don't let that stop from getting feedback from your seniors, from your customers, from your partner. Now, I am seeing a great one, right? This entire interview that you are doing, this is part of getting feedback, and I appreciate. And how do you kind of inculcate that as a mindset, a feedback mindset, I would like to call that.
Sure.
So that's, I think, the second most important. Well, of course, there are quite a few other things, but I don't want to give. I think the generation has access to enough information nowadays from different sources. I think one of the things that they also need to learn is need to figure out really what's the right set of information that they should continue with and what to discard, because we live in a age of information overload, and I think a lot of youngsters are struggling with that information.